Hey y'all. So I'm going to be answering another question from the comments section. I'm answering questions while ironing. Well, this particular question while ironing. Basically, the question wants to know if you can still be polyamorous with different genders. Yes, you can. There are a lot of bisexual people in the ethical, non-monogamous love style / lifestyle. So there are people who are bisexual, biromantic, who practice polygamy, polyandry, polyamory, BDSM, kink, swinging. All kinds of things fall under the ethical, non-monogamous umbrella. I practice polyamory, which means multiple loves. Not multiple spouses, not multiple wives, not multiple husbands. I don't plan on getting married. So, I would not be practicing anything like that. I don't plan on being a sister wife to anybody that husband dates. That's not for me. We don't plan on moving anyone in here with us and living with us that either of us is dating. As a matter of fact, the boundary that we have decided for us is that no one will be at our house if either one of us decides to date someone. They do not come to the house. We just established that boundary early on, very early on, probably within the first week. So, yeah, it's just best to keep our home. But I myself am a straight woman in the polyamory community or polyamorous community, which is difficult for people to understand because they just assume that if you are a woman and you're polyamorous, that you are into other women. Not the case. There are plenty of us out here who are cisgendered straight women, and we don't have any desire to be with another woman. If I date somebody else, it's gonna be another man. Likewise, husband is not bisexual or biromantic. He won't be dating men. He dates women. He is a cisgendered heterosexual male. So, yeah, it just is what it is. You know, love is love. Love who you want, love how you want, as long as you're doing it ethically. And when I say ethically, I mean the lines of communication are open and transparent. All parties involved are aware. Boundaries are not only stated, but respected. You know, ethically. You're not out here just hoeing without nobody knowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody out here thinking you're monogamous to them, but really you out here spreading it wide, as they say. So, yeah, you want to make sure that you're upfront and honest about everything. Ask those what if questions. Ask those hypothetical questions. Because at some point you're probably going to run into those scenarios, and you want to already have those answers or boundaries or expectations out on the table. You know? So it's just easier. I'm ironing husband's shirt for work. Yes, I do iron. I don't like it, but I'll do it. Only because I loves him. I hope that answers your question. I did mention biromantic and bisexual. They are two different things. I'll just give a little drop onto what those are. just what they say, just what they mean. By romantic means you are romantically attracted to two or more genders, sexes, and bisexual, you are sexually attracted to two or more sexes. By romantic, you're romantically attracted. Sexual, bisexual, you're sexually attracted. Not every bisexual person is biromantic. So if you are in a situation where you are with someone who tells you they're bisexual, you might want to dig deeper and ask if they're biromantic. If romance is important to you, it might not be important to you. You might be a player and you don't need all that. You just want the sex. However, if romance is important to you, definitely have that conversation with the person you're dating or thinking of dating. Even if they aren't by anything, if romance is important to you, you need to figure out what romance means to you and what romance means to them, because people's definition of romance can be very different. And it might not work for your love language, the kind of romance that they like, and vice versa. You guys know, I've told you before, gifts are not my thing. I don't care about gifts. I really don't. They're nice. Yeah, it's nice you thought about me and got me something. However, gifts are not my top love language. My top love language, as I always say it with me, acts of service. And I tend to show my love in that way because it's easy for me to do acts of service because it's how I like to be shown love. So when that's not being done enough for me, I start to get a little irritated, a little frustrated, a little like, but why can't you just do this? And then you don't want to feel like you're nagging the person that you love, because it's like, I've already told you what my love language is and you don't seem to be doing it. Been there, done that. Like, how would you like it if all I ever did for you was this love language, knowing that this was your love language? Make it make sense. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. The person that asked the question, if you have any other questions, I'm going to direct you to the Instagrams of two different people that I follow that would probably be more of an expert on this topic. So I'm going to link them down below for you, and you can just go check them out and ask all the questions you would like there for them, because I'm not the dictionary on ethical non-monogamy. I'm not even the dictionary on polyamory, because the way I practice it is probably very different than the way anybody else practices it. And pretty much everybody in the community could probably say that. It's not going to look the same for everybody because the parties involved kind of dictate what it looks like. So me not being involved with everybody that practices it, it's going to look very different. You know, it looks different for the two of us right now because of where we are in our relationship. It would look different if I add a partner, if he adds a partner. It's going to look different if we decide to have multiple partners each. So it's going to look very different. Different stages you're in, different people you're with. If I decide to not nest with husband anymore and go nest with somebody else, or vice versa, he decides not nest with me and go nest with someone else. And nesting means live with. So it will look very different depending on the people involved in the relationship, how many people are involved in the relationship, what boundaries are presented, what expectations are presented. We don't do rules necessarily, we do boundaries and expectations. There's no veto power, meaning I don't have the right to tell him who he can and cannot date, and vice versa. Now, I can express my opinions if someone is doing him wrong or if there's a toxicity to their relationship, because it's going to probably spill over to my relationship. Then I can voice my opinion. Hey, you know, all you guys seem to do is argue, fuss, and fight, and now you come home with attitude, you know, like it's starting to affect us. I can voice my opinion, but do I get to veto it? No, not unless it's an unsafe situation. I give him the right to veto an unsafe situation for me. If I'm with someone who's hitting me, abusing me in any kind of fashion or form, he has the right to veto that relationship, you know? and vice versa, because we want to be safe, and physically safe, mentally safe, emotionally safe. But it would be extreme toxicity or abuse is when one of us could step in and be like, nah, this is done. This is done. So other than that, no, we don't veto each other's dates. We don't veto each other's relationships and partners. We don't do that. I don't need to have a relationship with my meta, which would be my partner's partner. I don't need to have a relationship with that person. If I don't like that person, that's on them. You do what you do with that person. I don't need to see him. I don't need to meet him. I don't need to talk to him. And vice versa. If they don't want to meet me or talk to me or anything, that's fine as well. As long as he and I's communication is good to go, I don't really need any extra communication from that person, and vice versa on my side. So again, hope that answers your question. I will drop the link to the people I'm talking about who would be more of an expert in teaching, because that's not my jam. I don't do that. As far as this topic goes, I can only tell you what I do, how I practice, and what I think, opinions. Okay, so keep watching.